Hello, my friends. My name is Justus Knight, and I want to thank you for tuning in. It was imperative that you did today because what we're about to cover, this is an emergency alert to you, your friends, and your family in every way, shape, and form. I've restarted this broadcast about 12 times because I am just terrified by what was presented, but more importantly, I can't say it fast enough to get the information to you. Now, I want to give one clarification. You have all seen me promote My Patriot Supply. This broadcast is not a commercial. It just so happens the Department of Homeland Security, immediately following a report from the Air Force to the president, said, folks, y'all better start prepping. Oh, wait till you find out why. It's terrifying. It's catastrophic. So I wanted to clear that in the beginning because these guys suddenly got put right in the middle of national headlines. Not that company in particular, but prepping supplies as a whole. And if you're not prepping, if you're not ready for worst case scenario, I cannot say this clear enough. You are endangering the lives of yourselves and your children. Because when the lights go out, when the water dries up, it's game over for all of us. And don't think that that scenario is impossible. It is absolutely not only possible, but probable. And the United States Air Force is backing that up. On your screen right now, you're going to see the Electromagnetic Defense Task Force 2018 report. This was approved for public release, which you'll see there. I just want you to know where these documents are coming from. This isn't some hodgepodge report. This is the United States Air Force. Immediately followed by a report from the Homeland Security, which we're going to get to. I'm going to read just a couple opening statements. The electromagnetic spectrum, I told you I'm in a hurry to get through this. I want to get this information out, is a broad area of activity characterized by physical observable activities such as visible light and lasers and unobservable phenomena such as microwaves and electromagnetic energy. EMS manifests through various frequencies and wavelengths produced by natural sources like solar storms and artificial by hardware such as radar or nuclear weapons. EMS impacts every domain of warfare. That's what they're warning against here. And I'm going to show you every little element, but I want you to read right here where it's going to thumb up. This came from James Woolsey, former director of the Central Intelligence Agency. The time for research is running out. We have the data we need. It is time for bold action. In the spirit of this challenge, EDTF seeks to inspire action based upon an array of research spanning more than 6 decades. So they dug in here. They know that EMS is critical in what its impact could be to our entire infrastructure. But more specifically, they go through certain points. And we'll just read certain quotes leading up to the meat of this topic. Failure to maintain technological dominance or freedom of operations in the EMS may diminish to stop a modern nation's broad civil and military activities. An EMF attack, an EMP attack, could entirely shut down our grid, our electric grid. And this isn't something that's just going to impact us for a day or a week or a month. This could be years. It's why the Homeland Security is coming out behind this and saying prep. But what could it actually impact? Well, they give specific examples, and be patient while I thumb through this. I kind of want you to walk through this with me so you realize the depth of this article. This isn't some little report. And you'll see up here, this is a symbol for nuclear and 5G and our infrastructure, our military infrastructure. So we're going to take just a few just to begin with. We're going to go hit nuclear power resilience to an EMP attack. Most experts agree that if a GMD or EMP incapacitates an electrical grid, the grid will likely remain in a failed state for weeks to months. That's a gross understatement, by the way. And we're going to go down to the quote here. In a worst-case scenario, all reactors within an affected region could be impacted simultaneously. In the United States, this would risk meltdowns at approximately 60 sites and 99 nuclear reactors, with more than 60,000 metric tons of spent nuclear fuel in storage pools. a complete, not only the shutdown of the electric grid, but jeopardizing the cooling of all the spent fuel, which should never be allowed to be in there in the first place. But there's nowhere to get rid of it, unfortunately, because we haven't built the right buildings to take care of this. Just know this is an attack scenario. Natural or man-made. Operator desperation became high. This is now they're going back to Japan and the Fukushima disaster. Operator desperation became high as creative means failed to get water circulation around those spent rods. During this time, plant operators unsuccessfully attempted to use fire truck pumps and even helicopters to supply cooling water. And hence the disaster that we have that's leaked into the water supply that continues to impact the region today. Well, now take that times 60 sites, times 99 nuclear reactors, and imagine the catastrophic failure, the catastrophic death, the catastrophic loss that we would face as a nation. That's only one variable of an EMP attack. One variable as to why you have to be prepared. The Air Force is warning this is probable beyond what anybody imagines. They go down further. They even go to how many displaced persons there would be. They're quantifying it. That's what terrifies me, and you've heard us cover the New World Order and how can they get a one world government in place? Natural disaster or man-made disasters of this scale, of this significance, would allow a secondary government, because if you're going, and they're going to go in here, they even tell you, installation command posts, critical infrastructure. At an undisclosed location in 2017, localized flooding incapacitated operations at a major military command and control facility. That was floodwaters, not an EMP nuclear disaster. Shut down an entire installation. We would be ripe for the picking if this ever happened. If this was put onto into our, and again, I apologize. I'm jumping because my passion behind this will just brim over. You all mean the world to me. This republic means the world to me. Our America means the world to me. I can't stand you. You see, I don't cover politics that much because it makes me sick. It makes me sick to hear the whatever you want to call them. I have trouble saying Republicans and Democrats at this point in time because it's a melting mess. But when we bicker over the most minuscule items, but we're not prepared for a disaster of epic proportion, now that could very easily be translated into the way of the New World Order, because why would they want us prepared for it? They want us to fall for a disaster so they can put in their government to control us all. But we're going to continue. We're going to go down just a little bit further to going into stolen weapons, exercise, and training realisms. And then they come into 5G. Yeah, 5G made the report. Strategic threats arising from adversary 5G networks. The development of 5G mobile technologies and network represents a quantum leap in communication capabilities that is ready for robust deployment. Consequently, the development of 5G networks deserve unique consideration. So is this another agenda point to force 5G? And who do we wrap it up in? Of course, we wrap it up back in China. Rapid creation of a global 5G network is also a cornerstone in China's industrial plan to compete with Western interests by creating a digital Silk Road. Because control of 5G is roughly equivalent to control of the internet, open 5G is critical to freedom and free market economies. Meanwhile, access to 5G millimeter wave bandwidth will be critical to operations in all war-fighting domains, in particular space command and control, where the EMPs could easily be launched to shut down all satellites. So now we have 5G entering a battlefield, which allegedly is not fully implemented in the United States, although if you start looking around, if you're like me, you're watching towers, and you're watching things pop up at a rapid pace. Just watch around your neighborhood. Look up at the trees. Whatever they're masking it as, whatever they're hiding as, some can't be hidden because the power generators that are going in underneath these old 4G towers. Go ahead. Look for the barbed wire, look for the warning signs, look for the caution signs, and tell me if those aren't starting to look eerily military. Because they're building this 5G, and it says on the very bottom here, and I'm going to thumb up just so we can read it, China's 5G plan is underwritten by $500 billion in investment with a first-to-market goal to deploy 5G commercially by 2020. In total, China will put more than $10 trillion to the One Belt, One Road strategy, with the digital Silk Road is one of 3 components. We've covered it a million times. China is wrapping their arms around the world. And now we're warning of an EMP attack. They're saying that 5G is suspect and we got to implement it because 5G they have superiority on. So if you understand, if the power goes down, our world goes down. Our lights go off. There will be no business. There will be no trade. There will be no food. There will be no supplies. And all the beautiful conveniences that we enjoy disappear overnight. But our government's going to worry about bickering, about minuscule open border issues when we can't protect our own citizens within our borders, and we're making no measures to assure that we're backed up in the case of catastrophic failure. Yeah, I'm pissed. That's why when you cover some of these articles, you can get fired up. And so, of course, right behind it, here it comes. The President's National Infrastructure Advisory Council puts out their report surviving a catastrophic power outage. Now you nervous yet? Because now you have the Air Force, followed by Homeland Security, warning the President of a power failure. Folks, what's heading our way? Because honestly, EMPs have been a threat for a long time. This is nothing new. The only thing that's changed in that arena is the man-made potential has grown increasingly strong. This could be a terrorist threat beyond anything we've ever seen. We talk about silent weapons for silent wars. You have it here. So when I said my sponsor, you go to preparewithlisa.com. You don't think this is critical now? You don't think this is why when we choose our sponsors, we choose people that are critical to our futures, those that make sense, those that can help our audiences, not some tchotchke item that makes no difference. Prepare with Lisa, My Patriot Supply. You go on that website because, folks, the United States Air Force and the Department of Homeland Security is warning all of us. They went to the president and warned him. Because this isn't days, this isn't weeks, this isn't months. This can be years that we are going to have to keep our families alive. It's why I'm a staunch advocate for assuring that gun control doesn't make it through, because we're going to have to arm ourselves for the anarchy that could happen if an EMP attack, if an EMP of natural causes, if any electromagnetic interference was to occur to shut down our grids, fire off our reactors, whatever may happen, the catastrophic implications are beyond anything that any of us can comprehend. So all we can do is prepare for worst case scenario, which we tell you all the time. And I want to thank each of you again for tuning in. It's time to take action, folks, not sit back and wait anymore. The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now. We must protect ourselves. You have to be ready. Y'all mean the world to me. And I want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you can please share this video everywhere you can. Everybody needs to be alerted. We all need to be the Paul Revere's on this one, because if this happens, I don't want to look myself in the mirror and say I didn't do everything to make sure you were aware. Once again, my name is Justus Knight. I want to thank you each for tuning in. Godspeed, and God bless each of you. Until next time, signing out.